Hey dorks, just a quick message reminding you to head over to twitch.tv/mindgappodcast and give us a follow. We live stream when we record our new podcast episodes, and we're live streaming video game sessions on Saturday nights at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. We're playing super rad stuff like Among Us, Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, Jackbox games, and Tabletop Simulator. Come hang out and play along with us. That's twitch.tv/mindgappodcast.
Mind Gap Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I'm Doug.
I'm Justin.
And we're happy you're here. You know what?
Yeah.
Let me back that up. Is there ever a time when we're not happy that you're here?
Gosh, I can't think of one off the top of my head.
I can't think of anything. I'm just thrilled that we're here and that you're here with us.
I am too.
Literally stopped a yawn from happening because that would have been very disingenuous to yawn after I said I'm so happy that we're here and you're here.
I'm so excited.
Thanks. This is now the yawn is actually here. Thanks,
Couldn't
Dick.
be. Yeah, I made myself do it. I got caught in my own trap.
I'm a little tired. I got up early today to work out, and I'm a
Look at
little
you.
sleepy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lifted some weights, took Nally to school, came back, walked 2.5 miles. I'm a machine.
Machine. That's the next sound drop I gotta pull.
Yes, machines.
Machines.
I just
Oh,
rewatched
God.
the Matrix trilogy, and as soon as he said machines, I was like, Justin.
Why did that become pre-show? Again, this is why you guys need to come hang out on Twitch, because there is pre-show antics.
Mhm.
But pre-show, we were talking about inside jokes. How did that become something between us? Do you remember what the genesis of that one was?
No idea. It was just one of those things where you made it's something I used to say with one of my other friends too, and then you said
Yeah.
it. So I think we bonded over that, where we're like machines, and it's just whenever we had an opportunity to say that, we said it like Morpheus from the Matrix. You know,
I love it.
which I gotta say, going back and rewatching that trilogy, I think it's fine. Like honestly,
Really?
I think it's okay. Like the third one's probably the dumpiest of them, but. Honestly,
I kind of want to unpack that with you. Maybe not this episode, but that feels like something like Matrix versus Star Wars. Why are you okay with one and not the other?
It's funny because people really took a dump on Reloaded.
Yeah.
Never really had a problem with it. Still don't. I think it's fine.
Reloaded is the second one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's
I'll
fine.
tell you what. I'll tell you where that one gets hung up on is it tried to outkick its coverage with CGI.
Yes.
It tried way too hard for where everything was. The first movie did a wonderful job implementing the technology where it was, and that second one, that fight of 100 Smiths, that was rough.
Yeah, that definitely has not aged well. But and some of the action in that movie is borderline Transformers, where you're like, oh my god, there's more. Like. Now we're on the freeway and two semis are going head to head. They're going to explode. And it's just like, you imagine the pitch meeting.
Michael Bay was a PA on that movie.
He was uncredited as, as a storyboarder.
It's a story
action
editor,
consultant. You just imagine people pitching like, all right, and then Trinity, she gets on this motorcycle that's on a semi that's pulling motorcycles, and she zooms off, but then there's agents, but then there's these other programs that are like white albino guys, but they have dreads and they turn into ghosts whenever you shoot at them. And then it's just like Neo's fighting 8 guys in like Nepal or some shit, who knows? And then
Nepal or some shit, I don't know where he is.
Yeah, it gets to be a bit much, but I still enjoyed it. And what I did enjoy about that was really watching Neo's progression from one movie to the next. It reminded me a lot of Luke Skywalker's progression, where by the third one, you're like, this guy's badass, and you believe it.
He's fully realized. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And same thing like in Reloaded, when you see him, it's just like he's come so far, and I do appreciate those sort of arcs with it. But biggest problem with Revolutions was so much of the machines versus the humans, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It has so little value because Agent Smith is in the Matrix just going bonkers, and at the end of the day, Neo has to go in there, and the whole like, I don't know, 2/3 of the movie is completely useless.
Right. Well, and yeah, too, like if we're just gonna like reset everything and everyone's gonna be, because really at the end of the movie, they just start again, don't they?
Well, it's a little bit different because in the history of that movie, spoilers for this movie that's been out for almost 20 years at this point in time.
Jesus Christ, is it? Wow.
Yeah. Because remember, I think the first one came out in 99.
That hurts my heart a little bit.
Yeah. Because I remember seeing the third one with Jill in the theater, and there was a guy that came into the theater dressed like Neo with like the long overcoat and like the glasses, and at the end he like walked out in shame because the movie wouldn't live up to expectations. So he was like, whoops. But at the time when he came in, everyone was like, yeah, that's cool. And then when it was over, everyone was like, that movie sucked. They looked at that guy, he's like he was responsible for it.
What do you have to say for yourself?
Boo!
Yeah.
But
Kevin.
Yeah, what happens is usually what the one is supposed to go back to the source. His code is reimplanted into the Matrix, and then because he's the anomaly in the equation, and then they choose, what is it, 12, I don't know, whatever, a handful of humans to then go repopulate Zion, and then they start all over again. But with this time, he kind of breaks the cycle. There's a peace between humans and machines, lead you to believe it's not necessarily going to be ongoing, but people who want to leave the Matrix are supposed to be allowed to leave, and they kind of just go differently because there's no reason to be at war. So it kind of leads you to believe that there's going to be a new future. People can stay in the Matrix, but they get a choice, which is all that series is all about, is choice.
I guess that's the thing. At the end of the day, if these people exist, and I never really, when I was younger, I had a problem with this. It was really like leaning into like what the deep seated, what is this universe about? Like the same thing with Star Wars. Like when I was younger and I would watch Star Wars, I never really got into like what is like the geopolitical, what's actually going on here with everything.
Why is the Trade Federation putting an embargo on Naboo? I want to know the details.
Right.
What did they do?
But with the Matrix, I guess the one thing I never realized, what you just said here, is that so in this progression that continues to happen, this pattern is the anomaly gets reabsorbed. A handful of humans are allowed to go repopulate Zion, only to fight in a great war that then ends the exact same way. So they're stuck in this loop. Why? What's the purpose of anything?
Why are they stuck in this loop? Well, I mean, because the machines need the humans for energy. They use them like batteries.
Humans are repopulating. If once the chosen one gets to get reabsorbed in this cycle, like before Neo broke the cycle, like say it was happening hundreds of times. Before Neo broke the cycle, a handful of them were allowed to go repopulate Zion, and then they re-engaged in a war. I think what it is because humans are imperfect and they don't accept the Matrix, like the versions that came before it. My interpretation is that the humans need this conflict because the one is an anomaly in an equation. They prepare for it. They allow Zion to exist to a certain point in time, and then they just sort of like, great, reinsert yourself back into the Matrix. We'll do another version of the Matrix. We'll keep everyone going, because what's important to them is that they harness the humans for energy. So they're like, this is an inconvenience that we put up with to make sure that we can still harness it. So they can continue to iterate.
Exactly.
So they're just like version 5.2.
Exactly. They're like, cool, next one, cool. Yeah, we're going to destroy Zion, but you get to choose whatever, how many people you'll repopulate. We'll leave you alone. And maybe a couple 100 years, we'll do this whole thing again when the anomaly comes back up in the equation. It's just like an ongoing thing, because for them, it's like, it's annoying, but it happens. And then we just keep going. We'll keep harnessing because, whatever. It's machines. Bringing it back full thing. What's Jared says, I'm not sure I like the blurb about Matrix Resurrection, which is going to be the next one. What's the blurb? I can't find it.
I don't know. Yeah, Jared, if you've got a link to the blurb, because I was actually going to ask the same thing.
Yeah, I didn't read the supposed plot outline. Tell me more.
I'm going to have to go back and rewatch these, because now, again, I feel the same way with the Star Wars, and I know you know where you are in Star Wars, but I do want to go back with adult eyes and adult brain and like actually pay attention to what's going on in the larger scheme of the universe.
Yeah. Wow. Looks like
now I'm actually interested.
Looks like Neil Patrick Harris is going to be in the new one.
Really?
As is Christina Ricci.
Neo Patrick Harris?
Oh shit. I don't know.
there.
I don't know what the blurb is, but would love to know the storyline. According to IMDb, the plot is currently unknown. So,
all right.
Where you got your information there, sir?
Well, while we wait for Jared, I feel like housekeeping time.
It is time for some housekeeping. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. If this is your first time here, first things first, follow us on Spotify and everywhere else you listen to your podcast. But we do exist there. Check us out there. You know, Jared is posting stuff, and Nightbot says no. Also, please come join our Discord server. Don't know what Discord is? It's essentially the modern age hangout spot for forums. You can come hang out with us. We chat. We have fun memes. Zenny recently got her 9gag privileges restored, so we're getting new memes every day from her, which is awesome.
Did she get banned from 9gag?
I think it was just she had a hard time using it on her phone, but now she's got it back up and running, and we're getting the good stuff every day. It's very good. So we got great memes. We hang out. We set up game nights. Last night I played some Splitgate with Slotty and with Noah. And we talked to Alpaca a little bit. Don't know who these people are? Well, come join the Discord and you'll know soon enough. So it's very fun. To get there, just go to twitch.tv/mindgappodcast. In the About section, you'll see a little thing that says Discord. It's a little banner. Just click on it. It's got a link embedded in it. Take you right over the Discord. Come hang out with us. And enjoy the fun. Enjoy our community. You are always welcome to join us. Next up, please don't forget to check out our merchandise on redbubble.com. Head over to redbubble.com, type in Mind Gap Podcast, and you'll find our logo there, and you can get yourself something nice. Maybe you pick up a coffee mug, maybe a travel mug, maybe a pillow, maybe a t-shirt, a hoodie, whatever you want. So many great things, so many great ways that you can get yourself something nice and support the podcast and get the podcast logo out there to everyone. It's great. We love it. That's redbubble.com. Type in, I was going to burp there. Type in Mind Gap Podcast, and you'd be good to go.
Zinni asks, how about a lanyard? Mind Gap lanyard? I'm not going to lie. There might be one on there. There's a whole bunch of weird shit on there, too.
I don't think there is specifically, and I don't know if that's something that they carry. But if anyone would carry it, it'd be Redbubble. But I don't think so. But that'd be pretty cool if there was one. You get stickers. Yeah. You like stickers? You can get stickers.
You get shower curtains. You can get clocks. You can get phone covers. You can get journal covers. Literally some very, very
drawstring
weird
bags
shit.
And backpacks.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff, man. That's good stuff. And good quality. I actually bought a t-shirt from there just because I want to see how it feels, because Teespring is dog shit. And this is good. It's really good material. I'm a big fan of it. So go get yourself something nice. Do it. You deserve it. And last but not least, we've got a video game stream every Saturday at 8 p.m. Central, where yours truly hosts a night of games from 8 p.m. Central to about 10ish. Sometimes it's just me playing solo games. Sometimes it's us playing with our Discord community. Sometimes it's party games. Regardless, it's always a good time. So come check that out at twitch.tv/mindgappodcast. And we also broadcast our podcast episodes live on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central. So come over there on Twitch. Hit the follow button and turn on notifications so it'll let you know when we go live, and come hang out in the chat. Be a part of our world. Because
we give a lot of opinions on this show.
Because we give a lot of fucks.
We do. We have bags and bags of fucks that we give. And one thing that we always heard early on is I'm listening to you guys and I just want to scream at my phone because you're idiots and I want to tell you why you're wrong. Well, if you come watch us live on Twitch, you have a forum for that.
You do.
You can type in all caps and let us know.
Exactly. And it's very, very entertaining. And sometimes it leads to, it takes our conversations elsewhere, which is really fun. So
Zinni is you've heard us mention her a few times. She's hijacked the podcast on a number of occasions.
With guests.
With topics. Yeah.
Asking them who their favorite Pokemon, monster is, and which one, and
Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur.
That's from the late night Pokemon collection.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So quick update. I made Cubano sandwiches over the weekend, and I gotta tell you, holy shit, gang! If you don't know what that is, it's essentially some It's like almost pulled pork, kind of. This beautiful, lovely marinade. I also had some ham that went with it, some Swiss cheese, some mustard, some pickles, and I made my own Cuban bread, and it was fucking phenomenal. Friday night, I took a shot at chow mein. There's an Asian market nearby. I got some legit noodles. Failed miserably making it.
Nice.
Pretty disappointed. I was like, God, I thought for sure this was going to work out. It didn't. I was like, well, I guess I can try the Cubanos. Cubanos kicked ass. Still eating it. Like I had some more. I've been basically eating it every meal.
Yeah.
For lunch today, I made an omelet with some of the pork, and it was goddamn
Ooh,
amazing.
now we're talking.
And tonight I
buddy.
made tacos with it. I cut some of this ham. I fried it up. I fried some of the pork and then put it in just a tortilla with a little bit of that non-fat Greek sour cream. Oh, it was just goddamn delightful. So I'm super excited about it. And I was inspired by Noah because when Noah came to visit in Chicago and he and I were eating at 11 City Diner, respect, I was like, hey, because he likes to cook. I was like, is there anything like you're really looking forward to cooking to? He's like, I really want to make a good Cuban sandwich. And I'm like, oh, that sounds so good. And that's been like, it kind of inceptioned me. In the back of my brain, I'm like, oh, that would be good. I wonder how hard that is. And I just happened to stumble across 2 recipes on YouTube. I'm like, seems feasible.
Yeah.
And
well, the nice thing is you had the mustard for it.
Yes, I want Mystery to know I used the mustard that he bought me and sent to me. It is.
You knew it was good mustard. It was dated, fresh. Yeah.
Yeah. It was
sent with love. Yeah. The pictures that you posted looked fucking amazing. I'm a big fan of a good sandwich, and that sandwich looked like it was mighty tasty.
Yeah, and the best part is like you're supposed to kind of use like a panini press, but I don't have one. So in the video recipe, they showed you how to do it without one, which was essentially you butter the top of the sandwich and the bottom of the sandwich. You put it in the pan, you heat up a cast iron skillet. You don't get it scorching, but and then you put that on top of it while turning on the heat for the other pan, and he just squishes it. So good.
Yes, sir.
So good. It was delicious.
That sounds fucking amazing.
I was most pleased with the outcome, and I look forward to making it again. And Jill is a huge fan, and it's just so good. So I just want to share that.
Good.
Just want to share that. It was absolutely wonderful. And also, if you're interested, we have a recipes channel in our Discord. So if
I was just gonna
say
you can swap these recipes if you come over to Discord.
Right. So good. Yeah. But so how about you? Do anything fun last week? Any updates?
Gosh. No, I mean we Friday, Saturday, and Sunday we went out and looked at houses. So it was a very, very very busy weekend. So
that's always fun.
Yeah, it's fun, but yeah, it's exhausting. Good Lord, I don't know what it is. All you're doing is walking through a house, but for some reason it is so unbelievable. Like you get home and you're like, I feel like I just put a full day's work in.
It's like,
I don't know what it is.
It's like driving, right? You drive for 3 hours, and I don't know about you, but I get out, I feel like I ran a couple miles. I'm just like, why do I feel so tired? I haven't even been driving. I've just been sitting.
Right. And it's you get out of the car and you're like, oh, I need to sit down.
Yeah, I'm just like, man, well, I feel like sleeping now. I'm like, I didn't even do anything,
Right. So yeah, it was fun, and I mean, we saw some good stuff, but it was exhausting. So that was that. Outside of that, we didn't do anything. Nothing too crazy. So we kept it low key.
Nice. Good.
Yeah.
Good to keep it low key.
Got what am I doing on Saturday? This coming Saturday, we're gonna go out a cookout at Rob Bob's place.
Robbie Bob.
Yeah, it's gonna be Haig and his wife, and Bob and his wife, and Beth and I. And
oh God, what's Bob
make
cooking
some tasty food? I think we're gonna make it easy. We're gonna do pub burgers. Haig loves the Mariano's pub burgers for some reason, so that's his thing. And then we're gonna do some sort of a potato, and then I think I'm gonna do a watermelon salad, little feta cheese, balsamic, and basil and stuff. So
okay, and don't forget the mustard.
You know, that goes without saying.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need to swing by because you've got all the mustard.
What is a pub burger, Justin?
I think a pub burger is just a thicker. It's just a thicker burger.
Gotcha. So like they pre-make the patties and they're like thicker.
Yeah. They pre-make the patties and I'm assuming they're I don't know if they're like half pound, maybe third pound burgers, but they're a little bit thicker. I think a pub burger typically is not your smashed out thin normal size patty. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's cool. That sounds
like
absolutely
think of a bulbous burger. That's a
Bulbasaur burger?
It's a bulbous burger.
There you go. Bulbous burger. That sounds awesome.
It's a burger that's eaten too much red meat.
There you go. Delicious.
It's just bloated, fat, and delicious.
Loaded, fat, and that's awesome, man. I'm excited. I've just enjoyed. It's so funny because last week I'm like, I'm gonna take it easy, and I cooked for like, I don't know, 8 hours. Like that was
right.
I cooked. I went out specifically, went hunting for the specific food. Got all the materials. Spent most of the day Saturday cooking this failed experiment, and then.
What failed on it? I have to know. What didn't work for you?
I'll have
you
to
got
check it.
Legit noodles.
I don't know, man.
Noodles.
The noodles were thicker, and
okay.
I don't know, man. I feel like they didn't come out very well, and there wasn't much flavor in the noodles, and it really bummed me out. And I used Chinese cooking wine, soy sauce, but everything just I don't know. It had like no flavor. It was bland. It tasted more like the sesame oil was very pronounced.
Okay.
Which is unfortunate. And I don't know, man. I've had some pretty successful Chinese food attempts in the past, and this one was not one of them. And I was like, oh, I thought for sure I was gonna get it. Because Jill and I are always like, man, if we could get some lo mein, if we can figure out that's gonna be amazing. And just couldn't quite get it. So I was like, I'll take it easy. And I spent doing all that. And then I was like, well, I guess I gotta make the marinade for the pork because the pork has to marinate overnight. And then the next day I got up, I'm like, great, and I will make this for lunch, so I'll throw it in the oven and cook it. And then I was like, well, then I got to make, all these other things to make I got to make the bread, and I made the bread, and there was a lot of stuff. I'm like, wow, I just cooked most of the weekend. So, but I really enjoyed it.
That's good.
Something you'll learn about me is if you ever come to visit me or hang out with me, there's going to be food involved. I'm going to try and make sure you're well fed. So
yeah. That's the only reason I used to go over to Doug's place, really.
Mm-hmm.
Is I was just hungry.
Yeah.
Like instead of going out and getting lunch, I'd just be like, I'm going to go hang out at Doug's all day.
It's funny because Jill's gotten to the point now where this is going to sound like a real humble brag. And if it does, tough shit. But she's like, you've ruined steak for me because your steak is so good. I feel like I don't need to get it anywhere else. Like I can go to a restaurant. It's like, do you want the steak? It's like, nah, I get good steak at home. What else you got? So now she has to sort of like figure out, or like a burger. She's like, you make a really good burger. I feel like there's this burger place up near New Buffalo that we went last year. And it was just like, they've got billboards. It's like the best burger you've ever had. And we went there and we were like, listen, I don't want to shit all over this, but I don't see what the big deal is. This is a very, at best, below average burger.
Did you tell the server that?
No, I mean we're not.
Did you say we'd like to speak to the chef? Send this fake out here, and we want to ridicule this person in front of everyone at this restaurant.
Be like, why do you guys say this? This is false advertising. I'm suing you.
Right.
Yeah. It's just, but it was like there was lines to get into this place, and you had to. It was just, and we ate it. I'm like, is this what this is? What's I don't see. It was like for me going to In-N-Out Burger. I'm like, okay. It's a place. I know you and I will disagree on that, and that's fine.
Shut your fucking mouth.
That's fine. I need to have that again because I was just like so like, yeah, I guess it's a burger,
It's one of those. What's disappointing that fell in for you. I think what happened is it fell in to the trap that a lot of things tend to fall into for different people, which is it was so overhyped that there's no way. The expectation killed the experience.
Yeah,
I mean, think that happens on a lot of, like, for Milos, that happened with Fight Club.
Mm-hmm.
He never saw it. And for years, everyone told him just how fucking amazing Fight Club is. Oh, dude, you're not gonna believe. And the twist, and like eventually he found out what it was. And so like when someone would be like, "Oh, have you ever seen Fight Club?" He's like, "No." And they go, "Oh, you're gonna love it." He's like, "I know. It's Tyler Durden the whole time. I get it. I don't need to like."
Yeah.
So the expectation of it killed the experience.
Yeah, I was like. Because honestly, how great can you make a burger?
We've talked about this before.
Like, how good can a burger really be? And
when you charge a shitload of money for a bottle of wine or a steak or something, there's only so good you can cook a steak, or there's only so long you can age a bottle of, like, at some point your return on investment is not there.
Yeah. And I think for me that I mean, I think that's the thing, is like we're always trying to rank them. And be like, this is the best burger I've ever had. It is actually like, yes, this is a good burger. I've had other burgers like this. It's in this category.
Right.
Like I definitely have had barbecue that stands above and beyond in certain spots, but I've also had a lot of pretty good barbecue where I'm like, this satisfies me. This is what I was looking for. And when you tell me this is, it's like, yeah, it's like if you're like, this is one of the best burgers and people swear by it and I eat it, I'm like, I hate to be an asshole, but I can make a better one at home. Like,
yeah,
it's not like it was expensive either. It was just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I was just expecting like, oh, this is gonna be a good fresh burger, and it seemed overcooked, and it was just, their fries were, it takes a lot to impress me, the fries anyway. I think fries are mostly shit most of the time. And I was just like,
you're a tough nut when it comes to fries, huh?
I don't know. Fries most of the time I think people get lazy with them. They're like, yep, I've trimmed a potato and I fried it. Now eat it up, you fucking slob. And I'm like, okay, there's not much flavor. Now, like Five Guys, big fan of Five Guys fries. That's pretty good. Pretty good stuff.
I went to Five Guys a week or two ago and hadn't been there in a while, and I was excited to get their fries because they gave you so many of them. And I don't know if they were rushed or if they had someone new behind the counter or if they were having a bad day or what, but these fries were so blonde, like they were not cooked.
Oh,
and
no.
biting into it, it felt more like biting into like a partially boiled potato than it did like a French fry. Didn't have the crunch on the outside and the soft on the inside. It was just like a soft potato. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about.
I do. This sounds like my prom night.
No flavor, no nothing. It was just gross. And I was like, oh, this is a super bummer. This is a super bummer.
Listen, pasta can be al dente. Fries cannot. Okay?
Cannot, yeah.
No al dente. I've done that before. I'm like, I've been roasting these potatoes. Are they done? No, they're not.
Nope.
Get them back in there. They're
right.
No, these are
You're gonna get
inedible.
Yeah.
Not good. Not good. But all that being said, I like to cook. I like to cook for people, and I like to spend my time doing that. And it's interesting because I saw an article today about someone who liked to do something else, and that was
nice transition, Doug.
Thank you. I was trying to figure out how to get here, and we got here. There is a Michigan couple up in Michigan.
Is that where they're from?
Yeah,
okay.
Who must pay their son $30,000 for throwing out his porn collection. So this is interesting. So
tell me all about this.
The details on this were that this guy.
Now hold on. Before you go any further, I want to put it out to the chat real quick. And anyone who's listening to the podcast can't do this, but how old do you think the son was that sued his parents? I want to put it out to the chat as we start to slowly reveal the details of the story. Please, please continue.
And also, Zenny says 12.
Great guess.
So also think about, and Justin, this goes for you too. Is there a time that your parents threw away something that you didn't want them to because either they A, thought it was garbage, or B, they were like, this is bad for you, I'm going to throw it away?
Sure.
So think about that as well. But according to this article, this person was living at their parents' home for 10 months after a divorce before moving to Muncie, Indiana. And after moving, he learned that his boxes of films and magazines were missing. And I gotta be like, this is a classic dude because he's got magazines.
Right. Some people collect vinyl. Some people collect classic cars. This individual collected VHS tapes and magazines.
Yeah. Man, that's old school. You're like, I gotta have this magazine. when I was a kid, I remember going to the stores and, just sort of because we were at a bookstore before they put the plastic over them, and I think I told this before. I would go to the other. It was like a two-sided thing, like a two-sided stand. I'll go to the other side, which was like home and garden. I'd be like, I wonder what's in the home and garden. I would just reach over the top, grab one of the dirty ones, and put it into the home and garden, and pretend I was reading home and garden magazines. And I'd go. Like, we'd be at the store, I'm like, Mom, I'm gonna go check the magazines, okay? Okay. And I just go over there and I'd just be like, woo! Nothing. And then when it was time, I would just close both of them together, and there would be a porn in the middle of home and garden, and then I would just be on my way.
Someone was in for a big treat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they were like, I think kids are looking at these. We should probably put plastic on them. And, that was just really easy to find these magazines in this hilarious store. So,
it was a sad day when the plastic wrap went on them. Yeah.
Jared goes, Doug's mom, he is really into weed whacking. I just gotta find out what's going on Weed Whacking Monthly, Mom.
Yeah. Oh, they're talking about crabgrass.
Yeah. They say you gotta aerate your lawn like every fall. You gotta get in there.
I'm gonna go aerate my lawn.
I just did it.
Don't come in my room. I'm going to be aerating my lawn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So after moving, he learned that his boxes of films, which again, man, to have boxes of that's a lot. And also, side note. Go ahead.
No, please.
Okay. When I was in junior high, a friend of mine at the time, his brother moved into an apartment in town. And they found a giant box of porn in the basement of this house they were renting out. And apparently this belonged to 3 professors at the college. And we were like, you found a giant box of porn? And it was me and 2 other guys. And they reached in, just randomly grabbed one tape and threw one to each of us. They're like, there you go. Now get the fuck out of here. And that's the first time I was introduced to porn. And
Amazing.
So it was just like a tape they had just taped over, it was like a compilation, their favorite scenes. And I was like, oh. And we went to basketball practice and had this tape hidden in my starter jacket. And I went home and I had a small TV with a VCR and I was like, what's in this? And it was very traumatic to watch porn. I'd seen softcore stuff, but I'd watched I was
through the squiggly lines.
Yeah, and I was seeing it for real. I was like, this is intense, man. It was a lot. So I'm just having flashbacks where I'm hearing there's a box of porn.
Well, the thing is, back when you were that age, that made more sense because we were closer to that time when that was how it was consumed. Nowadays, think about this. The dude has to maintain a working VCR player, right?
It just says films. It could be DVDs.
Well, films, that makes me think he needs a reel-to-reel. He needs to have a projector.
And it just says boxes of films. I mean,
right. I'm sorry. If your boxes of films, I'm going to safely say that these are VHS. I have to. There's no way this is not VHS.
You're probably 60% right. I mean, there's a 60% chance that these are actual VHS tapes, it could be a mix because maybe those are the old ones he started collecting. Then he moved into DVDs. Maybe he got to Blu-rays. Who knows?
Do you think so maybe he had both? Maybe he had big laser discs.
Yeah, right.
Midway through, he's got to flip it over.
Yeah.
Do you think the nice thing about the laser discs? If you don't want to use your hand anymore, you can just fuck the disc. So when this guy goes in and he's got to go into a pawn shop and he's like, I'm looking for a VCR DVD player combo. You've got to know if someone nowadays is asking for that, you have to assume it's someone who has an old school collection of porn.
Yeah.
There's no other reason someone's asking for that combo player.
Yeah. And not only that, I mean, to have boxes of this, I mean, that's a commitment. Because it's not my understanding is this isn't something he accumulated in those 10 months moving home with his parents. This is something that he's had. This probably nudged the divorce forward. This was probably a reason why it didn't work out. Not because he had porn, but because it was not working out. And he's like, well, at least I got these boxes, I would argue that it wasn't working out, not because he had porn, because he had boxes of porn. And magazines.
And magazines, right? Like, if you look, everyone looks at it. If you've got boxes of it, we might need to talk.
Yeah,
Sit
dude.
down. Let's
Listen,
discuss.
You can get a terabyte hard drive these days for like next to nothing. Like, just get that shit on there, man. Save yourself, because when you have that much evidence, I mean, what are you gonna do when you move? It's like, don't open these boxes.
Right.
These are Dad's boxes.
These are marked fragile. Don't. I'll move these. Don't worry.
Don't do these. Yeah. All right. So anyway, this guy in his boxes of stuff, is apparently after he moved, he learned that this stuff was missing, and his father wrote in an email, "Frankly, David, I did you a big favor getting rid of all this stuff." So his parents got rid of his porn, and he essentially sued them, and they said it was worth $29,000. But then the judge also ordered his parents to pay $14,500 to the son's attorney. So,
right.
Here's the thing. I think what did it say in here that they had to get an expert?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that was in there.
I'm trying to see where it said that. But essentially, they had to call in an expert to put the value together of how much these boxes and stuff is.
Which again begs the question: who's the expert in this? Whose expertise? Some dude sitting with boxes of his own, and he gets a phone call, and he just turns and goes. He turns to a picture of his parents and goes, "I told you my schooling would pay off.
I told you my interests would come to." They need an expert. Hey, Mom, guess what they need today? An expert in porn valuation. Guess who they called? Me.
Or maybe he's got a great relationship and he calls and goes, "Mom, your little boy's been called up to the big leagues.
I'm going to court to be an expert witness." Like, what? So the judge apparently said there's no question that the destroyed property was David's property, and the defendants repeatedly admitted that they destroyed the property. And the parents were saying that they were acting as his landlords at the time, so that's why they did it, which is not a watertight argument. It's a bad argument because then the lawyer said, well, the defendants do not cite any statute or case law to support their assertion that landlords can destroy a property that they dislike.
Yeah.
So essentially, I mean, listen, it takes a lot of balls to amass this much porn and to be that attached to it, to spend, well, maybe not spend, but basically accumulate $29,000 worth of porn. And then it takes extra balls to then go and sue your parents for destroying it and be like, y'all need to give me that back. Because I was going to subscribe to OnlyFans, but then they got rid of the sexually explicit content, but then they brought it back, so I need that money because I'm going to support my local sex worker.
I was going to sell. This was my retirement. This was my nest egg.
Yeah.
My wife didn't get it, but I get it.
You can't find this gangbang anywhere anymore. It's only on this physical copy of this VHS.
This is a first edition.
Yeah.
You don't understand how rare this is.
Yeah, this is not something you're going to find everywhere. All right? It is
still
rare.
In the plastic. Do you know how hard it was for me to not watch this?
Right? This, I bought this for $15. It's now $30 on the open market. It has doubled 100% valuation.
In another 20 years, this could be worth a cool 45.
Yeah. Who's an idiot now, Mom?
So, to let people in the chat know, 43 years old.
Yes. This is a 43-year-old man.
A 43-year-old man who is suing his parents for throwing away his pornography.
Yeah, so this is someone who's 5 years older than you and me, Justin.
God, like Zinni initially guessed 12, and I was like, logical that a kid would be like, I'm going to sue you, you know. Then once we said divorce, she's like, oh, 21.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
43.
40 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about his relationship I don't know anything about like what the marriage was, this and that. I am inclined, based off of the evidence presented, to side with the wife in whatever happened. I feel like I'm siding with whatever happened with the wife.
See, here's the thing, man. If you're gonna watch porn, you're gonna watch porn. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, you gotta take care of your business. You gotta do what you gotta do. And I'm not here to kink shame anybody or anything like that, but you also gotta understand the optics of owning that much porn. Like
$29,000 worth of porn.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you have $29,000 of anything in your hobby? I'm assuming some of your gear for film production, maybe, but is it $29,000?
I don't think in total, if you take our San Diego gear package and our Chicago gear package and tally it up, everything, we might start to get towards there, but I don't even think we have that much. No.
I'm trying to think of the stuff that I don't have a,
besides your home.
I don't have a vehicle that's valued at that amount. I don't have, I mean, I've bought a lot of video games in my time. Don't think I've crossed that threshold.
$29,000 threshold.
You know, yeah, I mean, no, I don't think so. Yeah. And Jared asked how much of it was My Little Pony porn. We'll never know.
I mean, again, I have to assume at least half.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much of it was Pokemon?
Right? Yeah, right. How much of it?
Bulbasaur, Squirtle.
Right?
Right?
How much of it was, Shrek porn,
Right.
Just learn that that's a thing,
Oh, when they that one website got spammed? Yeah. Exactly.
That's a thing.
Rule 34 exists, and it exists hard.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kablamo.
I don't know. I'm not. There's nothing wrong. I have no issue with people looking at porn. That is not what we're going on about here. I think what we're going on about is the fact that it was a 43-year-old man who owned $29,000 worth of this stuff that was old, and B, was suing his fucking parents. Like, at some point you might want to look at it and go, you know what, Dad, you're right. You were doing the right thing for me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think
and who's coming off a divorce, which again, I guarantee you, sight unseen, without seeing any papers, I know it was because of this.
Yeah.
This played a very large role in that.
So good on that guy. I mean, I guess.
So,
do you remember your parents throwing away any shit of yours that,
I remember something my mom should have thrown away mine, which was scabs from my chicken pox.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Let's bring that back up.
Could have been good.
Yeah. No, there's nothing that they...
Noah said his Pokemon cards. Your mom threw away your Pokemon cards? Oh, no.
That's a bummer. I don't remember them throwing anything away that was of like super value to me. I was going to say like potentially my Transformers, like my original Transformers toys, but those were all very well worn out and played with. So like, I don't think they would have had any value really at the end of the day anyway. So I don't think so. My dad, his mom threw away his first edition Beatles albums.
Ooh.
Because she was never really into rock and roll, kind of, didn't get the whole thing a little bit more on the religious side. And when he moved out when he was 18, and I guess some stuff was still there, and, she was cleaning house, and he came back for him at some point in his life, and I don't remember when or what the circumstances were, but I remember him telling me, he's like, yeah, I had a lot of like original press Beatles albums from the day. Like I would go to the record store when they came out in the 60s, buy him as a kid. And he's like, I showed up to get the box from the attic and they were gone. And she's like, oh, I threw out a bunch of boxes. And I was like, that hurts on so many levels. That hurts me on so many levels.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah. That's one of the more painful ones that I can think of.
My mom was notorious for throwing shit away that belonged to other people.
Was she?
Notorious. The famous.
What'd she get from you?
The famous story in our house was how she threw away my dad's cassette tape of Meatloaf's "Bat Outta Hell." It went missing, and
I love how individual and specific this is.
Yeah, it was an ongoing thing in our family for years, where it's like, my dad's like, and everyone knew what happened, but no one would actually admit to it. He's just like, yeah, maybe went missing, just like my meatloaf tape. Like, it was just like one of those things. My mom was like, I hate that music. It was, when I look back at it, I get even more infuriated because I'm like, how obnoxious to be like, I don't like this, so I'm just going to throw it away. I'm like, it's not about you.
Right.
It's not about you. This is his tape, and he has it in his car.
Right.
Let him keep it. Like, what the hell?
Listen to it.
And she told us at one point, my brother and I told my dad, he goes, I knew she did it. I knew it. Where else was it going to go?
I like to just envision you guys told your dad, he slowly stands up from his chair, walks over to the closet, pulls out a suitcase that has been packed for 15 years and just walks out the door. And he's just like, I've been waiting for it.
He goes, what you don't realize is he removes a family portrait off the wall, just does a combination on the safe, pulls it open, opens it. He's got a whole stack of Bat Out of Hell cassettes. He goes, guess what? I was always prepared, and puts it in, cranks it to 11, and just goes, and I will do anything for love. She comes home, he turns it off. He's like, hi, dear. Welcome home.
Oh, nothing. What?
Yeah, that was one. And then also later on, my mom would notoriously throw away spices that my dad would use to cook things because she said it stunk up the whole house. And again, she didn't like it. Therefore, it got thrown away.
So this was really your mom's house. That's how this rolled.
When it came to that stuff, for sure. And for me personally, it was when I was living there, I would put stuff under my bed that this is going to, as I'm starting to say this, I'm like, this is going to sound like incriminating, but it's not. I would just have like something like, I went to this summer academy for 3 years. Yeah. And in there, whenever you're done, they give you like a listing of everyone's like phone numbers and addresses so you can write and call them. And I would oftentimes lay on the floor in my room and talk on the phone because the phone didn't reach that back when you had landlines and phones.
Absolutely.
And so I would just have it on the floor under my bed is where I would keep it because I would just like look it up, dial the number, and put it back under there. And my mom just decided to clean my room one day and just fucking threw it away. And we were going to go meet one of my friends in Kansas City, and the address was, in this book. And my mom's like, well, what's their address? I'm like, well, let me go get it. I go, where's that book? She goes, oh, well, I threw it away. I'm like, well, I guess we don't know how to get there then, do we? Don't throw away my shit. And it created a complex with me where this is insane. But when Jill and I first moved in together in Chicago, I had this janky ass like laundry hamper that would probably give you tetanus because I had it through college, and it was just like one of those wire ones that had like, I don't know, some sort of loose, like thin fabric. And it was janky as shit. It was broken. It wasn't good, but I used it because it was my laundry hamper. And then one day Jill threw it away, and I came home and I was like, where's my laundry hamper? Jill's like, oh, I threw it away. And I was like, you threw away my stuff? And she's like, yeah, it was broken. I was like, don't do that. My mom used to do that. And she was like, wow, I didn't know you had so much of an attachment to this laundry hamper that's broken. It has been broken since I've known you in college. And I like took a step back. I'm like, it's probably not that big of a deal, but that whole act of that really bothers me. So please don't do that. She's like, fine, I'll check in when you want to throw away your stuff.
Well, that I do see that point though, is that like it's not the laundry hamper itself that was the issue. It's bringing back up that thing of nothing of yours is like there's a little bit of that seed in there, like nothing of mine is safe or sacred or whatever. Like it's all disposable. And it's not the fact that this laundry hamper specifically, it's just that this is a thing that I have an attachment to. Weird or not, I have an attachment to it, and you threw it away. Now, the only exception I'll say to that is if it's a giant box of porn. In that case, detach, let someone throw it away. You need help. Yeah. No, I that to this day, just, I love my mom, but man, that shit, especially when I think about it now as an adult, I'm like, wow. Surprised my parents are still together, to be honest with you. I don't know, the
man.
that I learn about them, the more surprised I am myself. It seems like you had a real interesting upbringing.
It's weird because
Real interesting.
I don't know if I just had such a creative imagination. I lived in a different world most of the time from everyone else, but it seemed positive. But as I look back as an adult, I'm like, what the fuck were we doing? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
See, Noah says he also has a jank launder hamper he got when he was like 13. Yeah, it's just like, it works. But, I'm better now because Jill makes me a better person. And,
Was it one of those collapsible ones, like the spring-loaded ones? I know exactly what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the spring like popped out near the top?
Yes. It was like dangerous. Like, it's not a good thing to have. It was just all because I didn't take care of it because I was like moving every year. Mm-hmm. I was just like throwing shit in it and whatever. I didn't take good care of it and whatever.
Yeah.
It did its job and it was fine.
You throw that thing in the back of a car and you're off to the races.
You fill it full of shit and move it and it gets like tumbled around. It's like, oh, this is pliable. It's all good. It's just like the idea of like, we're going to throw this away because we don't need it.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing too when you look at like, when you're in that phase of your life where you are moving year to year and you don't spend more than 12 months in any one place. It is amazing how much you're stuck. Like there's a reason younger people and college kids and stuff have such shitty things is because things aren't made to move that much. And it's not anyone's, like, I'm starting to have a realization the older I get. I'm like, it's no one's fault. It's just that kids are transient and they move so much that their stuff gets beat to shit. And that's why whenever you walk into like a 19, 20, 21-year-old's apartment, you're like, this is all garbage. I get it. Yeah. It started nice.
It's also like you don't have much money. And I remember when it was like spring cleaning, we would grossly, my senior year, go around the neighborhood and be like, who's throwing away furniture? And we're like, free couch. And we would get a couch. I remember Jill going, I don't understand why you're doing that. Like, it's a free couch. It's like that someone else has used and they don't want anymore. So they're putting it on the curb. We're like, yeah, but it's a free couch.
Right. But it's ours now.
Ugh, and we're like, where's the rich neighborhood? Let's go to Bettendorf. That's where the wealthy people are. Let's see what they put on there.
Like, and I love the concept in your mind. You're like, yeah, a wealthy neighborhood will have nice couches sitting on the front.
It's spring cleaning, man.
It's spring cleaning. These wealthy people, they won't call someone to take it away. They'll just throw it on their lawn like everyone else.
Yeah, they'll do that. Like, we should go over there and see if we can find. Oh, it's probably already picked over,
The logic of youth is amazing.
Yeah, because at that age,
amazing.
That's why you're like, oh, I'll drink Keystone Light. I'll go to an all-you-can-eat buffet. Like you get
special export. That was our fridge was full of Special X.
Yeah, because you don't know. You're like, I don't have much money, so I need to get as much as I can with as little as I can. So you just make it work. So
absolutely, yeah.
You're not going to pay for paint to paint your house because that takes time and money. And you're like, fuck that. It comes as is. Just don't break anything.
Right, exactly.
Because then we have to buy paint to paint over what we did. So
exactly.
Yeah. So you don't have nice shit.
Oh man. No, the stories of how that's another podcast that we should do at some point is like is the hacks life hacks from when you were younger. Like, what were some of the things you used to use? In the kit, like we didn't have oven mitts, so what did you use instead? A roll of paper towels, what are some of the crazy shit that you made work that just should not have worked?
Yeah, just I remember
everyone's got that shit.
The idea of like a bottle cap, like coffee table, was really popular at the time. So like a couple of guys in my house, my senior year, were making one, but. Little by little as they were consuming bottles and they would do it, and we would use it. But the problem is like, we didn't have like a glass top on it. So people would use it. They would eat over it and crumbs would get in between the little spots in the spaces. And it's like, this is a disgusting table. It's filled with like crumbs and dirt because we're building it as we go, but also using it as a functional table. So it's absolutely disgusting now. Like, what are we doing? I have an old desk for a TV cabinet at the moment. There you go. Way to go, Jared.
There you go. That works.
Make it do with what you have.
Make do.
Yeah, you got to get creative with that sort of stuff. I mean, honestly, at that point, you're just probably happy to be in a house.
Oh God,
as a senior, like being like, "Hey, we have our own house. This is our house, and we do what we want here." Not realizing that the basement was a cavern that I had to duck to get into to do my laundry because it was way too short. And there was like, I don't know, a brick wall in there that like the bricks had fallen out. So it looks like, oh, this is where they bury bodies, you know?
This is right. One of the corpses punched their way back through.
Yeah, right. And I remember doing laundry one day and standing up too fast. I hit the ductwork and it rang throughout the house and I fell to the ground.
Really?
And as I laid there, just holding my head, I heard Jill giggling. And then she goes, "Are you okay?" Because she knew exactly what happened. And I'm like, yeah. But she knew, all she heard was, wow. She knew exactly what had happened.
Yeah.
Like Doug just hit his head down there. Like, yeah. Oh, the things you would just accept as at that age, just to have any semblance of freedom or your own space. Because think about that too. Growing up when I was in high school, like when you could drive, there was no place where you could go to just really hang out and be alone unsupervised, and probably for good reason, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Our drummer's house was that place.
Yeah.
We did have a haven and anything was allowed there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I was like, God, I just need to, so we would just drive around. You could do that back then when gas was cheap enough to be able to do that.
Right.
And because that was the only freedom you could get. I was, I'm going to go drive around and just do whatever you're going to do. And then like at one point I had moved to a new house and we were trying to sell our old house. So occasionally I would go to our old house, but it was gross in there because it was just sitting there and whatever. There was probably rodents and stuff. Lights didn't really work much in there.
Wasn't being cleaned. Yeah.
No, it was disgusting. And not only that, it would be like, well, Doug's truck is parked out in the front of the house, so we know that he's there.
There's no stealth. There's Ninja Doug right there.
Yeah, right. Not so Ninja Doug. You know, it's like, oh, someone's there. And I mean, you could probably pull into the garage, but still someone's going to see you. Yeah, and one time I tried to go in there at night, like there was like kind of a back alley that was shared amongst some neighbors. And I parked back there and one of our neighbors was out there smoking and he's like, "Hey, you can't park back here. This is private property." I was like, "Oh, okay." I didn't want to be like, I used to live here. He was just like, it was so weird because he was like in the darkness smoking.
Just that orange tip lighting up. And then
just like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, this is," he probably was like, "This guy's up to no good." I'm like, "I used to live here and I just want to go fuck around. I need some privacy." And he's just like,
"I left a big box of porn in the house and I need to go get it."
Get out of here, kid. I was like, "Oh." So like at that point, like when you're getting older, like 18, 19, 20, and like as you're moving along, you're like, I want my own space. So when you get something like a house that you're renting with like a couple other people, are like, "This is our place, man. This is where we can do our thing. And we don't have to be surrounded by anyone else. It's our rules." Like, it's totally cool. And really, it's not cool. It's pretty miserable.
It's
living
gross, yeah.
But compared to where you were, like living in dorms and like having all this structure and like, oh, you gotta check in at the front desk. It's like, no, man, I just walk in my front door because I got a key. I just go in. It's like, hey, we're gonna have a party here. It's totally cool. And whatever. It's like that slow rise of freedom and your own, just coming into your own. It was always really exciting. And then, you know, for me, I moved about every year for a God knows how many years, and nothing felt like home ever.
No, it did not. It was from 2004 to 2009. I think I moved just about every year.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, starting from
about 2 years. Yeah.
Starting from 2001. When I moved out and went to college, through 2005, moved to Chicago, and then like we moved 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008-ish, and then we stayed in one place for like 2 years. Then we stayed in one place for 5 years.
Right.
One
Which
place
felt
for
like eternity.
6 months. And like we were just bouncing around. I was just talking about this with Jill the other day. I was like, until we finally moved into our house, I was like, nothing felt like home. I was like, why would I want to hang up pictures? Why would I want to paint anything? Why would I want to do anything? About
this a lot over the years. Yeah.
It's like, why? We're going to leave here.
Right.
Why would I try to personalize it? This isn't home. Like, and I still kind of have a little bit of that with my house. I'm just like, it's taken me a long time to be like, this is home. We should probably put up stuff. Like we should make an effort. Because for me, it's just about the effort. Like I've got a couple of really cool Batman posters in here that I just haven't hung up,
which are still on the ground.
On the floor.
Every time I come over, they're just leaned against the wall. Yeah.
I got Bane there, and I've got the Joker over there, but I still got the big Joker one over there. I got a new Joker one over there. I've got a bunch of cool shit.
And it took you a while to get that Bane one up too. That one didn't go up right away.
Well, part of it too is like I also don't know where to hang them now. I mean, that one can go on that wall. There's no excuse. But I was like, do I want to put it behind me because then I've got lights shining on it? You know, it doesn't make for good, stuff because I've got this stuff. I was like, I don't really know how to design my room right now, so I just give up. I'm like, meh,
I'm gonna throw a lightsaber on the wall and some baffling. Yeah.
Yep. There you go. Ta-da!
And that's it. Ta-da! I did it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. I kind of want to do more. I have a bunch of cool little tchotchkes, but I also don't really have anywhere to put it. This room's actually kind of a mess now that I think about it.
Now that I'm looking around, have you reverted, Doug? Have you gone back in time?
Well, we need to clean out our closets. This is real exciting. Let's talk about what Doug needs to do at his house. No. All right, I want to talk about this other thing real quick before we wrap up. There's this thing that it was trending recently that was is basically an AI program that will create a mashup DJ set from any songs that you want. And it's called rave.dj. And I'm going to put a link to it in the chat right now so you all can go and check it out. It's fascinating because this is AI generated, and some of them, Justin and I were sampling this in our production meeting last night. Some of them are like, wow, really cool. It's not perfect.
No.
It kind of just fades in between both of them. But
like
some
we were
of the
saying, it's not like an actual like mashup where you're like really lining things up and it's the chorus of one song and a verse from another. Really, all it's doing is if you have one song playing on one channel and one song playing on the other, they tempo match them, and then they basically just pan back and forth. But to what Doug was saying, like some of it does line up shockingly well beat wise.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's some of them are like the Gangnam Style and You Can't Touch This. Is really good. That one is a wonderful mix mashup. There's Darude's Sandstorm mixed with Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley, which is pretty good. There was a Aha Take On Me with Slipknot's Duality. It was interesting. But then they've got really like bizarre ones. What is it? It's it was Bad and Bougie meets Friends in Low Places. So you've got this Garth Brooks like playing, but then there's also this just Bad Bougie song going over it. It's like, this is monstrous, but it's very, very interesting. And I don't know. It's one of those things like anytime there's something AI related, you can guess that Justin and I are going to talk about it because it's always fascinating. Sure. How you could take these things and essentially like let an AI be like these two because it doesn't have any preconceived notions.
Right.
It's like, there you go.
Well, and this begs my question that I kind of started to bring up last night, which is why? Like, to what avail? What does this help us gain as a society? Because like we just talked about, these songs aren't great. They're not good mashups, really. So like, what does this? The only thing that we came up with last night, or that I was thinking could possibly, is it gives you maybe some inspiration of what you could mash up, and then you can take it and you tweak it and make it really good. But I would say, like, what do you think the purpose of something like that? Just because, or do you think there could be some sort of application down the road?
I think part of it is you've got to try and teach the AI style, because when they take over, you want them to be well versed in that, so they can take this and hopefully make our lives a little bit pleasant with style. Okay. I don't know, man. I don't know enough about machine learning to really understand machines. But I think it's interesting to feed something like this a bunch of data and then see what it produces, and for it to be able to kind of, because these are things that I think we wouldn't necessarily think of, and the machine is going to do it for us. Like, it's going to put these, and some of them don't work.
Right.
Some of them really do work, and you're like, oh shit. And while it may not be perfect, it can give someone an idea to make it much, much better. And it's fucking awesome. I love the idea of this, in that I think it's more just fun. I don't think it was done with like, this is part of a thesis for my doctorate, sort of situation.
Right.
But I think it's really interesting just to see what can come out of this. I don't know, man. I always love seeing what's possible with music, just
right.
And you throw AI into it, something that seems so cold and, lacks a soul, and being like, what can you create? And we watched it kind of create a Nirvana song,
Right.
Which pretty impressive, actually.
There's part of me that agrees, and there's part of me that goes, AI needs to step off anything creative. We don't need it in this realm.
No, we don't need it.
But again, then some would make the argument that it can help inspire, and there could be some theoretical practical applications, but I don't know. It's one of those things where I look at this and I go, cool. So we spent resources on this. What could we have solved? Could we have cracked one more, link in the chain towards curing cancer? But if we diverted funds from this, what didn't we get because we now have this?
It's a fair question. I'd say this is about as unnecessary as the live action Disney movie remakes. I mean, we don't need them.
That's, that's a very fair.
We really don't.
A very fair point. Yeah.
Thanks for making The Lion King again with different awesome voice actors. Didn't need it.
Yeah.
Didn't need it. Wholly unnecessary. This is definitely an unnecessary thing, but I don't know. I find it amusing, but
this is something you can plug 2 songs in too, right? Can't you? You can input 2 things yourself and actually have it do the thing, right?
Yes.
So what would 2 songs be that you would want to hear it mash up?
See, that's the thing, is like, that's where I kind of get lost in this, because I wouldn't even know where to start.
Okay.
You know what? That's the one thing we didn't do, is we didn't actually try to build our own.
Yeah, that's
see with this. We failed.
We could have. Yeah.
I'd love to, because my favorite thing now is people who do this is this song in the style of this artist. Like, I love seeing that stuff all the time.
Yes. Yeah.
Noah says he's trying right now. It's taking some time.
Okay.
And I think, I don't know, like, one of the things I love is every time everyone's like, hey, it's this, but in the style of Blink-182, I'm like, you've got my attention. Let's
tell me
see
more.
This. Tell me more. I see that shit all the time. I'm like, yes. Like, someone's done Fall Out Boy's Sugar We're Going Down Swinging, but as if it were from, I know that, but a very specific Blink-182 album. Like, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. They're like, if Blink-182, and they nail it every time. I'm like, that's exactly what it would sound like. It's fucking phenomenal. It blows my mind. Like, that other guy, Alex Melton, who you
talked about him a lot.
Love that guy. Which, by the way, that guy quit his day job.
Good for him. Legitimately good for him.
He sent he posted he made a tweet. He goes, he videoed himself going to click the button to send the email that basically said he's quitting his day job, and you could watch his hand like tremble as he's like,
that's fucking cool, man.
He waits and he's like, click, and then he just sort of like gets away from the computer really quick, like, I just did it, because he's gonna fully commit to what he's doing right now, which I was like,
damn it, that's fucking awesome.
Good for you, man. Take the plunge. I support
that gives me this weird, like, I feel like there's this like light in my chest. I'm like, yes, I'm beaming for it. Like, because that's the dream, man. That's so cool that he's doing that. Good for him.
Well, it's amazing because, he was obviously burning the candle at both ends and, trying to make this work. And now he's like, cool, man, I'm all in on the music stuff. And he's a really good musician.
Yeah,
but
well, obviously, yeah.
He does a lot. He did like Vanessa Carlton's 1,000 Miles, but in the style of Blink-182. And I was like, yes, this is amazing. And he does all sorts he does country versions of a lot of those songs, which is great. I hate country.
A range too, to be able as an individual artist, to be able to accurately take songs, morph them into other genres, but that many different genres. That's again, that just speaks to his ability as a musician. That's incredible.
Well, no, that he's able to pick apart the different aspects of it. Like he did like this one song in the form of a bunch of different pop punk bands, and he nailed their styles so well. Like just each one he did, I was like, oh shit, yeah. I was like, that's really well done. And just moved from piece to piece, like with a different part, like based on a different band. I was like, God damn it, man, that's really impressive. Just, so to answer your question, I can't really think of two songs that I would put together. I would try to do probably, my first thought is like, What's My Age Again by Blink-182. Like, what could I mash that up with? I would,
with all the small things.
I was gonna say another Damn It by Blink-182. It just.
I've got two songs that I'd mash up.
Mm-hmm. What would they be?
Stuff is stupid, stuff is dumb. Welcome to Stuff Down.
Dude, that was beautiful.
I'm just saying.
Well done.
That works, I think.
AI. Noah goes, wow.
AI ain't got nothing on this, baby.
Suck that, AI.
Yeah.
Suck it good.
All right, suck it good.
All right, let's take a look. What the fuck do we have here? All right. I'm kind of familiar with one of these.
I am not. Or yes, I think I'm assuming we're familiar with the same one, but
probably. If you're new here, this week's throwdown is featuring Heinz Doofenschmirtz from Phineas and Ferb versus Gru from Despicable Me.
Heinz Doofenschmirtz.
Jared says, "What's My Age Again" in 22 by Taylor Swift. Let's do it. Let's put it in the machine and see what it farts out.
Put it in the machine.
Machines. You really got to pull that.
This was the perfect episode for it.
I know, it really was. So if you're new to us, the throwdown, which we've always done, is now being determined in secret by the council. So we don't know what it is before we pull it up. So let's take a look at what we got here. So Gru is the only one I've heard of.
So I'll tackle the Doofenschmirtz here.
Old Doofenschmirtz. All right.
So the skills and ability for old Heinz Doofenschmirtz, much like Phineas and Ferb, Doofenschmirtz can make revolutionary technology in less than a day. Some of his inventions are even stated to surpass Phineas and Ferb's. He seems to be knowledgeable in all forms of science, such as engineering, chemistry, biology, quantum physics, and even construction. He was able to make a working regoodinator out of cannibalized parts from an OWCA jet and some broken robots. He was even able to formulate a proper antidote to turn one of Vanessa's friends who had become a mutant back to normal. His physical skills are more lacking, consistently shown to be physically weak, but incredibly durable, able to survive events that should kill a man on a regular basis. One example, he actually fell off his building and somehow survived as he made his way back up using the elevator. He's also incredible. He has incredible upper body dexterity and can run faster than a panda bear, but slower than a platypus. Okay. All right. I see where they're coming from there.
I guess.
I suppose. This is, just for the record, this is an insanely long article. I don't understand why there needs to be this much how there's this much information on him. Real quick here also, occupation, evil scientist. He majored in evil science.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's see. He's got siblings, a spouse, children. He's got friends, love interests. Wait, what's his spouse? Okay, divorced. I was going to say, so he's not cheating on his spouse, is he? Typical Doofenschmirtz.
He's also a science teacher at Danville High.
Okay.
That's good.
I don't see any other reference to. He's about 47. Wait, 47, 70, 57, 67 in Phineas. Okay, so we'll call him late 40s, I guess, and he's 6'2".
All right.
How about that?
About that. One of his nemesis is also Pizza Guy. So
Putting that out there.
all right, let's talk about Gru. Gru is very strong and athletic. I didn't know that about him. Being capable of dodging and leaping off several heat-seeking missiles, all going at the speed of sound, backhanding Vector's shark with a single punch with the apparent force of a truck, and smashing his fist into Vector's monitor, easily cracking the screen without damaging his hand. I hate that people have put all this stuff together in an article. To be like, with the apparent force of a truck, go fuck yourself. Apart from his remarkable agility and strength, Gru is considerably intelligent. For example, as a child, he built a real rocket, although later on his minions and Nefario did most of his work instead. Gru is also capable of forming smart plans, such as his plan to steal the shrink ray from Vector. He has several weapons: a freeze ray, a shrink ray, a fart gun, a laser gun, a lipstick taser, rocket launcher, jelly gun, a big blaster cannon, and an inflation gun. And he's built several vehicles, including an airship, whatever, all that other stuff. All right, so that's about all
besides
I know
being
about him.
both mad scientists, or scientists with accents, Noah Reno also pointed out that they both have pointy noses.
Yes.
So there's your link between the two.
Here we go. That's a thing.
Yep.
Let's see if there's anything else on here.
Look,
He's 57 years old, it seems like.
that's Gru.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who voices Heinz Doofenschmirtz? Schmertz. Let's see. Friends, boss. Voiced by Dan
Povenmire.
Hovenmeyer, and then Jeff Gunn is the singing voice. Well, I would say, based off who voices him, Gru, that's a win in Gru's column.
Yeah, right? Well, I'll say this much. For the record, Slotty, I'm not blaming you for the research. I'm blaming just the fact that there is a whole world out here that has somehow gone through to discuss the strength and dexterity of these animated creatures. And it's like that one article we went down looking at one creature in the Star Wars universe, and it had just paragraphs upon paragraphs upon paragraphs of what this thing was, how it mated, like how long it typically lived, its habitats. I'm like, this is all
gestation period.
You see this thing for like half a second an episode, and someone's built out all these articles. That's crazy.
World building, Doug. World building.
That's right. Mary McCaming, thank you for the sub. 11 months.
Thank you.
You're the fucking best. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. So here's what I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like their intellect is a wash. I feel like that's kind of like, it's straight up, right?
Yeah.
I think that they're either equivalent in that regard as far as like what they can create.
Yes.
And their intellect is pretty strong. I also think that, I don't know, does Gru's strength and athleticism come into play here? Because if he can dodge and leap off several heat-seeking missiles, all going at the speed of sound, and if he can backhand a shark in a single punch with the apparent force of a truck, does that give him the advantage against Heinz?
Yeah, I'm going to say yes.
Because I imagine they'll be relying on their inventions first, right?
Well, they're never without. Like, they're always pulling in, like, stuff out from seemingly nowhere.
Yeah. It's so they've got that stuff. So I imagine they'll be pretty.
I just think with Gru's ability, with Gru's dexterity, his strength, and his smart, if they're matched in smarts, Gru's ability to create weapons and his strength, the strength is the tipping point for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're while they're both Heinz is resilient, he can fall off a building. We've also seen Gru get blown up and take a couple hits too, but he's also leaping off of rockets that are going at the speed of sound. Like,
yeah,
he's going to be able to dodge whatever Doofenschmirtz throws at him, no problem.
Yeah. Well, it says here personality-wise, it says Doofenschmirtz, normally any of his plans will have a large and decisive flaw, though a slight obliviousness causes him to never catch it. For example, in a plan to dig a tunnel to China, he forgets that the Earth's core is filled with magma, thus imperiling himself and Perry the platypus. Several plans are doomed by the mindless inclusion of a self-destruct button in various places, such as the feet of his robot army or an overly convenient off switch. So it sounds like he misses the details, whereas Gru, sneaky and somewhat cold-hearted man. He's also cruel, even sadistic at first, and enjoyed using his freeze ray, which was his signature weapon, often freezing people just for the sake of it.
Right, just to get in front of the line for coffee.
Yeah. So he started, as he spent time with his daughters, he put aside his, dream of stealing the moon and everything like that. So I get the feeling that Gru is a little more put together.
Mm-hmm.
He chooses to do what he wants to do, whereas Heinz Doofenschmirtz may be bright, but he's going to set himself up to fail.
100% of the time, yeah.
So I think because of that, he's going to overlook something that Gru is going to take advantage of, and Gru is going to come away the victor.
Absolutely. I mean, and again, you pair that, and I keep going back to this, you pair that with Gru's physical, prowess and the ability to be that dexterous and that have that kind of dexterity and jump off of rockets and stuff.
Yeah.
Again, I say anything that Doofenschmirtz throws at him, he's going to easily be able to deflect and come back at something. So I feel like this is really just a no-brainer, and this is going to be Gru for the win. I'd like to point out that we are 1 minute. We're close to a hype train. I've never been on the stream before when a hype train is close. So more things. I don't know what this means, but I got real excited when I saw that.
It basically means if there's a lot of people like subbing or gifting or donating, if enough of those sequentially happen, it creates a hype train. It's basically like, whoa, check this out. People are being really cool.
Guys, you want more of that? Hype it up. Do it.
Hype it up, Chris. I just did.
Not happy. I'll throw in all the good shit. Everything people likes, right?
Stuff is
Come on, hype it up.
Dumb. Doug hates stuff.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Noah said, I did the song thing, a song called War and a song called Capsize. It made the song Wop Size. So there's that, but it also was just okay. Good to know. I'm actually going to try that later. I'm going to try and do that Blink 182 and Taylor Swift and see what comes out. That could be interesting. That should be fun.
Yeah.
So, woo, what a fun one. That episode did not go nearly as planned, and that's okay. I kind of like it when
this is one of those where we had 3 or 4 topics on here, and we made it through
2.
1.5, we'll say.
Yeah, and both of those were the shortest topics. So, we found our own way, as we always do.
That's true.
Justin, what do you got to recommend this week?
Oh boy, I don't know if you guys have heard, but Ted Lasso season 2 is out, so please go check that shiznit. And seriously, it's good. We'll talk about it more later. And I've been watching Netflix The Good Place, and I was one of those where I heard the hype when it was out. It was, everyone's like, oh, it's winning awards and The Good Place, such a good show. I just kind of passed it off. I was like, sure, whatever. It looks like it's like a pretty softball comedy and whatever. I was so dead wrong. It is such a good, fun show. I'm very, very much enjoying it. I burned through the first 2 seasons and I've slowed myself down because it's one of those where I actually kind of want to just, stretch it out a little bit. So I would say go check out if you've heard good things about it and you're like, maybe I'm curious. I would say go watch it because you're going to be pleasantly surprised. It's on Netflix right now. Doug, what do you got?
I'm going to recommend a song that I already posted in the Discord and I actually already shared with Justin, but it's living in my head rent free right now. It's a song called Follow the Light by Dirty Loops and Corey Wong. For anyone in the chat who's not listened to it, I just posted a link to it. YouTube recommends songs to me sometimes, and I'm like, cool, let's see what this is all about. And it is an incredibly catchy song that has top tier musical talent as far as like instrumentalism, if that's a word. It's fucking phenomenal. The band actually consists of a bass player, a drummer, and a singer/keyboardist. Those are the key players. And they essentially have like, I don't know, their master's or doctorate degrees in the instruments that they play. And they're from Sweden, and they're fucking phenomenal. Like the intro, like just beats. I'm like, oh, it's like bump, 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 bump. And then they just like, this like real funky shit starts happening. You're like, oh, what is this? And part of me is like, why do you like this? This isn't what it's supposed to be. It feels like a little bit 80s. And I'm less like, oh shit. And it's got a real catchy chorus. And then there's this bass solo that's fucking phenomenal. And I'm like, who are these guys? I got completely like just obsessed with them for like 24 hours. So that's Dirty Loops and Corey Wong with their song Follow the Light. It just premiered on August the 19th. Check that out on YouTube. I think you'll enjoy it. And we would enjoy it if you followed us on all of our social medias at MindGap Podcast. Give us a follow, see what's going on with us. Also, please don't forget to check us out on our YouTube channel. We post all of our episodes there, as well as highlights from our shows and our streams. Be sure to like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. And please, please, please don't forget to check us out on Twitch, twitch.tv/MindGap Podcast, where we stream all of our podcasts live, as well as our video game live stream on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Central Time. So please, come hang out, check us out, and don't forget to check out Justin online as well.
That's right. On Instagram and Twitter, you can find me at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's the fun way of spelling it. And while you're in the online realm, check us out on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Samsung Podcasts, where you can rate us, review us, subscribe, all the things. The big one we ask you to do is share. Just copy the link to an episode you really enjoy and share it around. It goes a long way and does a lot for us. Also, tuiesdates.com/mindgap, and then just keep an eye on all of Tuiesdate's social medias.
Yeah. Justin, This was a good time, man. Thank you so much.
A good time.
I appreciate you.
Are we thanking already? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to say this, and I want you to take it to heart. Thank you.
All right. Good deal. Thank you. And I also want to say to Twitch, thank you.
And to not only to Doug, I say thank you, but also to the listeners, I say thank you.
And you all have a dandy fucking week.
MindGap Podcast.